Now we get underway with the Minimax final for Minimax and rookies here on day number 2. Here is your starting grid. Cole Denham took the victory by 56 thousandths of a second in the pre-final. He will line up on pole position as we've just had a little bit of a moment between a couple of carts through turn number 3. He'll line up on pole. He'll have Jacob Ashcroft alongside on the front row. Nikita Lubimov and Albert Friend, row 2. Kai Clark and Lucas Dorder, row 3. Alexander Van Meeuwen and Felipe Reyes, row 4, with Rory Armstrong and Tom Reed completing the top 10. Frederik Sigurd Stubberup, Lars Lambers, Thomas Verheyen, Lieke van Berkel, Finn Abbott Jorgensen, Bran van der Weken, Tristan Shays, Christian Segerson, Jack Freeman, Vic van Kampenhout, Victor Reutz, João Maria Pereira, Maria Roberto, Cés Moyes, Emilian Ball, Kieran Stewart, Antonio Stakdelidis, Leon Herbos, Oliver Warner, Jent Moon and Jeff Verbeek, and Konstantinos Kandilidis round out the 32 strong grid. Oh, and that is a drama for the 151, who is not going to be taking the start. And unfortunately, that was Konstantinos Kandilidis, who is off the circuit, I'm afraid. So once again, it is going to be another (13 minutes plus an additional lap). Revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are out. The Minimax Day 2 final is underway. And a good start at the front end of the field by Cole Denham. He's got Jacob Ashcroft right behind him. Albert Friend keeps it pinned round the outside of turn 2 on Nikita Lubimov, who instantly looks to go up the inside through turn number 3, but the 191 holds his ground and remains in third. They hurtle their way through turn number 4 on the opening tour of this 1,388-metre circuit. Nearly 2 abreast going down through into turn number 5. Drivers so far making their way through towards the far part of the circuit. As they now go through into the final right-hander before the chicane, it's going to be Cole Denham that leads the way. Jacob Ashcroft in second position at this moment as lap 1 is in the books. 8 tenths covered the top 7, rounded out by Felipe Reyes from the Netherlands. A second covers the top 8 with Alexander Van Meeuwen. Felipe Reyes has got past Lucas Dorder, looks up the inside of Kai Clark. It's 3 wide coming out of turn 3. Who's going to get the run down into turn number 4? It is going to be more than likely Lucas Dorder that's held on to that place. 2 abreast at some points going down into turn number 5 and into the approach into turn 6. Lars Lambers now right on the coattails of Rory Armstrong in the battle for 9th place. So top 4 have started to break away ever so slightly from the chasing pack. And Albert Friend nearly has Nikita Lubimov up the inside through turn 1. But the Strawberry Racing driver from, well, in the 191 entry manages to stay ahead for the minute, but through turn 3, the door gets wide open once again. Lubimov, oh, there's a tangle between the two. They rub wheels. And Albert Friend says, what on earth were you playing at there, I'm afraid. Albert Friend was trying to aggressively stamp his authority on third position. Nikita Lubimov was having none of it, and they tangled wheels. But both of them were very much unscathed after that one. A little bit of a tank slapper for Albert Friend, but he held his ground and held his nerve. That's now allowing the lot from behind to try and close on in. Lucas Dorder is in 5th. Nikita Lubimov up the inside through turn 1, this time around on Albert Friend. Now Albert Friend goes round the outside through turn 2. He's not going to have enough room to get through there. And Lucas Dorder looks up the inside, takes 4th position away. And again, it was nearly 3 wide. And Albert Friend needs to keep both hands on the wheel and concentrate and just try and brush that off to one side. What has just transpired, side by side, just outside of the top 10, through turn number 5, around about 11th and 12th position, I would believe. Lieke van Berkel is doing a sterling job at the moment. She's currently sitting behind Alexander Van Meeuwen and Felipe Reyes in the battle for P6. Behind them, they've got Kai Clark and Lars Lambers. Rory Armstrong has dropped down a further couple of positions behind Thomas Verheyen and Tom Reed. As with 8 minutes and 50 seconds still to go, plus an additional lap, Cole Denham still leads. Ashcroft waiting for his opportune moment to strike and get past through on the 162, who looks over his left shoulder as they go down the approach into turn number 4. Five minutes down, 8 to go, and still the racing continues in earnest. Denham has the lead over Ashcroft. It was 97 thousandths, it's 0.125. But Ashcroft is in that window of opportunity. Alexander Van Meeuwen now finds himself down in 10th position behind Lars Lambers in 9th, Kai Clark in 8th, and Lieke van Berkel is currently in 7th position. So a great job by her in this last race of the weekend, and she is closing in on Felipe Reyes for 6th position. And the last time around, top 14 were covered by just under 3.8 seconds. Across the line, the lead is just over a tenth. And it's 6 tenths between first and third, 9.5 tenths between first and fourth, and 1.2 seconds covering the top 5. Lars Lambers in 8th has just set the fastest lap of the race. And is closing in on Lieke van Berkel and Felipe Reyes amongst others. 2.308 seconds covered the top 10. Rounded out by the 127 of Belgium's Alexander Van Meeuwen as Lars Lambers stumbles whilst trying to get past Lieke van Berkel. So the 185 has a couple of kart lengths advantage after a little bit of a clumsy error there from the 142. Now on to lap number 8 with 5 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Ashcroft is just keeping himself there or thereabouts. And looking at the entire field, well, from 1st to 30th, they are covered by 16.3 seconds. Antonius Dactylidis is the driver in 30th. Leon Herboz rounding up the 31 drivers that are still running. Unfortunately, Konstantinos Kandelidis not making it to the start with the kart breaking down on the 151. Denom still leads. Lubimov is trying to catch them. They were pretty level on pace. Albert Friend in 4th was slightly quicker than the trio in front of him. And Lucas Dorda puts in a personal best. So does Felipe Reyes. 59.904 and 59.899 respectively for the 117 and the 107. Lars Lambers, a couple of laps ago, still has the, well, from a couple of laps ago, 59.718. Means that Lars Lambers in 7th position. The youngster from Belgium still has the fastest lap to his credit. Now Lubimov and Friend are starting to join proceedings up front. So is Lucas Lauder, Felipe Reyes, Lars Lambers and Lieke van Berkel. Lap 10 now underway. So the biggest question remains with regards to Jacob Ashcroft. He's the meat in the sandwich. He's going to go for it now. Up the inside through turn number 3. Cole Denham has other ideas, says you are not going to get past me. Nikita Lubimov looks to stick his nose up the inside of Jacob Ashcroft through turn number 4. And that nearly compromised Albert Friend. Lucas Dorder was right to the outside on the approach into turn number 5. So Cole Denham just wanting to keep a hold of that race lead for as long as possible. And then we'll start fighting tooth and nail with Jacob Ashcroft across the line to complete lap 10. Still very difficult to foresee what might transpire. And a wide moment there for Albert Friend, who's just lost a few positions. He's dropped behind Lucas Dorder, Felipe Reyes and Lars Lambers. That puts him in 7th. He's got Lieke van Berkel not too far behind. But the top 3 have pretty much been staying with each other at this moment. Lars Lambers, in the meantime, has put in the fastest lap of the race of 59.581 and was the best part of about a quarter of a second quicker than Felipe Reyes just in front. 2 minutes to go. Lubimov waiting for the opportunity to see if he can get through on Jacob Ashcroft. That is not an easy task to steel yourself for and to propagate. With 90 seconds on the timer remaining. There is still plenty of time for something to happen. With the field tightly packed as it is, top 15, the top 29 covered by 15 seconds, as I've just heard someone go past. Not too sure if their exhaust might be a little bit noisy. 2 laps to go, and Felipe Reyes stays ahead of Lars Lambers for the meantime. in what is now 5th position. Albert Friend finds himself in 7th, ahead of Lieke van Berkel, who in turn is a little bit further ahead, about just over 5/10 of a second in front of Alexander Van Meeuwen. Kai Clark completes the top 10. A great run through the field to where he is now, 18th position for Argenti Motorsports' Oliver Warner. He's made steady progress as the timer counts down. We are going to be on to the final lap this time. It all comes down to this one seminal moment. Timer is expired. Last lap board is out. Here we go. The fight now starts as Ashcroft gets towards the inside, through on Cole Denham. They're nearly sidewall to sidewall through turn 2. Ashcroft on the inside gets back into the race lead. And now it's a 6-way fight. Make that 7. Maybe make that 8 with Lieke van Berkel. It's now the hurry up through turn number 4 for the final time through the sweeper at turn 5. Everyone line astern. And Nikita Lubimov trying to put the frighteners on. Albert Friend getting past Lars Lambers. Lieke van Berkel might have a shot, maybe even at the top 5, as we head into the final 4 corners of this race and of their weekend. Jacob Ashcroft pounced at the right time going on to the final lap through the opening turn. Cole Denham kept side by side with him, but Ashcroft is going to come out of the final corner. He wins here in Marienburg by just over 1/10 of a second. It was glorious, it was magnificent, it was poetry in motion for that last lap first turn overtake that secured Jacob Ashcroft with his 3rd victory in 4 races this weekend. Cole Denham takes 2nd ahead of Nikita Lubimov, who rounds out the top 3. Lucas Dodder, Felipe Reyes and Albert Friend round out the top 6. Congratulations, well done to Lieke van Berkel from the Netherlands, 7th in the final. Lars Lambers, Alexander Van Meeuwen and Kai Clark complete the top 10. Thomas Verheyen, Tom Reed, Rory Armstrong, Bran van der Weken, Jent Thimoonen, Vic van Kampenhout, Oliver Warner, Christian Sejersen, Finn Albert Jorgensen, Frederik Sigurd Subrup, Jack Freeman, João Maria Pereira, Tristan Shays, Victor Reutz, Cés Moyes, Emilian Ball, Maria Roberto running out 27th ahead of Jeff Verbeek, Kieran Stewart, Antonio Stakdelidis and Leon Herbos rounding out the 31 that finished. And unfortunately for Konstantinos Kandelidis, it was a non-start due to a technical breakdown on the way to start this final.